Home is where connections are made, memories are formed, and ideas are born. And no one knows home better than NFM. Thanks for tuning in to I Am Home, the podcast that goes deeper than trends and dives into what it means to make your house a home.
Tyler Weiskup here from NFM headquarters with a different crew today. Becca and Hillary couldn't make it, but we're thrilled to be joined by frequent co-host and NFM brand strategist Renee Quevedo.
Good morning.
Hey, Renee. And our podcast founder, Chief Marketing Officer, Amy Myers.
Good morning, Tyler.
Hi, Amy. And ladies, today I'm even more stoked than usual because we have the returning to Nebraska prodigal daughter of softball and NFM home team athlete with us in the studio, Jordy Bahl. Hello, Jordyn.
Hi, good morning.
Hi. Again, we're so honored to have you here. We're so excited to talk, obviously, about softball, coming home, and so much more. But before we get to that, let me tell you why we're even doing this podcast, and that's because NFM is more than just your everything home store. We're in the business of improving lifestyles because your home life should be your best life. Learn more at nfm.com. And before we jump into the questions, Jordyn, do you mind if we kind of officially introduce you to the audience, listening audience?
Yeah.
Okay. I just have a little bio here.
Okay.
So, and feel free to add anything that you'd like. Okay, so Jordy Bahl is a college softball pitcher for Nebraska now, formerly with Oklahoma. Jordyn is a 2-time Women's College World Series champion and basically a winner of all of the honors. 2 times first-time All-American, 2 times Big 12 Pitcher of the Year, World Series Most Outstanding Player, and that's just to name a few. In high school, she led the Papillion Monarchs to 3 consecutive Class A state titles. Her pitching record is insane. Won all the awards, including Gatorade's National Softball Player of the Year. And you're a pet person. You're big into the outdoors and fishing and hunting. And, of course, faith and family are really huge for you. And I'd love to start there because I know the decision for you to leave Oklahoma and come back to Nebraska to continue your softball career was really inspired by homesickness and kind of finding that balance in your life. I'm just curious, I know it was kind of a difficult decision to come to this, but was there a trigger point for ultimately making that decision to come back?
I would say it was more of a kind of progression. My freshman year, there was a lot of homesickness, but I knew that was pretty general among freshmen. Everyone kind of feels that being away from home for the first time. So it was about halfway through the fall semester of my sophomore year when instead of those feelings going away, they just continued to worsen and stick around. And so at that point, I kind of started thinking about it, and then it was like I said, just a progression. So.
Yeah. Those kind of things really, if it's not going away, if it's something that sticks with you, and you talked about this being like big for your mental health and for finding that balance in your life. So I'm glad that you're able to kind of recognize that because not everybody does. They can kind of just try to keep driving forward, and sometimes that leads to negative results, again, when it comes to your mental health. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I would say just being in high school, there were a lot of things in life that I just took for granted because I had them constantly, and that was things outside of softball. It was my family. It was my friends. And then when I go down to school, all of a sudden now softball is pretty much the only thing I do. And then when that's going on, I'm fine. But then I go home and I'm sitting on the couch and I'm like, okay, what now? What do I do until practice tomorrow? And so I think it was just at that point, finally you hit a breaking point where it's like, okay, well, softball's never been the most important thing in my life. So why am I sacrificing everything else that's super important to me just for softball?
Yeah.
That's a beautiful way of articulating. I like that.
Yeah. So tell us about dealing, with the media and fan reaction after you've made the announcement to come back. It's been such a huge story. All the press and the events that you've been doing here the last couple of weeks. I think you threw out the first pitch at the Storm Chasers game last night.
Yep.
You're doing interviews like this. How have you been able to cope with all of this attention?
Well, I would say right when the announcements came out, I was honestly expecting the worst. But from the OU fan base, it was nothing but love and support. And so I think that just speaks volumes on the kind of people that they are. And then in coming home, it's just been excitement, open arms, just pure excitement and just love from everybody here as well. And I felt that stronger than ever just from doing things like this and the Storm Chasers game last night, just feeling the support and the turnout that there was there. It's a really cool feeling, and I don't think that you feel that anywhere besides your home. It just means different when it's people from home. But as far as just staying grounded in everything, I rely heavily on my close people. That's my immediate family, my boyfriend, the people that have been there since day one and I know would still care about me whether I touched a softball again or not. And I think my whole life they've kind of been my soundboard, and I know that they'll be honest with me and tell me what I need to hear. And man, I have 3 brothers and they keep me honest as well. So yeah, I have a lot of really great people in my life and a strong support system here.
Yeah, I know that we've got some good brother stories, and we've got some questions
yeah.
for that coming up. So excited to
Yeah.
get in that. Well, you've obviously created a huge amount of buzz. Interest in Nebraska season tickets has gone higher than capacity. But it's been a while since the team has gone the distance, and I was just curious. Do you? I know you're going to be working with the team hard to make sure that you can get up to the levels that the Huskers can get to. But any advice for how the Husker faithful fan base can help you and the team with the upcoming seasons?
I would say, I think as an athlete, all you can ask for is consistency. But if you want to keep the fan base excited, you got to perform. But I would say, just to speak on the season ticket numbers that have just shot through the roof, that doesn't happen with just one transfer. The team has so many powerful units. They have strong bats. They have good defense. They have good returning pitching. It's like everyone's excited because they see the team as a whole, what we can do. And so that's just a super exciting thing. And I saw that coming in as well. I watched the Nebraska softball team play a lot during this season just because it was the home team. I was going to be watching them anyways. And they have a lot of talent on that team. And so I think that it's going to be really cool to see the run that we can make. And I think that the fans as well in the state can see that. So I'm really excited.
So how does it work, like when you announced that you were coming to the players? Do you guys reach out to each other kind of instantly?
Yeah, so
connect?
it's really cool because on the Nebraska softball team, there's girls I played with growing up. So I played with some of the girls in travel ball. I played against some of the girls on high school. I was already really familiar with a good chunk of the team. And so right when the announcement came out, I got a FaceTime call right away from 2 girls I grew up playing with.
Aww.
So it was really cool, just an exciting moment to just hear from them. And it had been a while since I'd heard from them just because we're in different areas of literally different areas of the country doing different things, but it was cool to just kind of reconnect with them in that moment and know that we're going to get to finish it out together.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Did you talk about anything specific when they called, or was it just general?
Group chats?
Well, yeah, actually pretty quickly the team group chats got together. I got added into the team group chat pretty quick, but I knew exactly why they were calling, and so it was just you kind of answer the phone and nothing needed to be said. It was pretty cool.
I love that.
Just lots of screaming and excitement.
Yeah.
Can't believe it.
Well, I'd love to
fun.
talk a little more about your softball career in general. Do you remember when you first got into softball?
Yeah, so I did t-ball and everything, but I wanted to keep going with it because my oldest brother, Hayden, was a baseball player, and he was a pitcher and a first baseman, and so watching him pitch, I knew I wanted to pitch. So I started taking pitching seriously when I was 8 years old because my parents started sending me to pitching lessons. And so, that's when I knew I wanted to pitch, and I guess just watching my older brother is what really got me into it.
Yeah, 8 years old, that's really young.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You still remember? So your first coach, because you said you were in lessons, right?
Yeah, he's the same pitching coach I still see now.
That's great.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really cool. He's like a family friend at this point. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that. I love reading about this story too. What became kind of a turning point for you. Your high school, I think it was your sophomore year, your team lost the championship, and it was kind of like a wake-up call for you.
Yeah.
And it instilled in you kind of a drive to work harder, to become a better team captain and motivator. Do you think that you'd be the player you are today without that loss?
Absolutely not. And I am so glad you brought that up because that truly was, like you said, a wake-up call and a turning point. Our team had gone undefeated the whole season, and then now here we are in the state championship. We're playing a team that I think we had already beat 2 times that year, and you kind of walk in with the mindset they have to beat us twice. It's not going to
This isn't a
happen.
game. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And not to say I was just overconfident, but maybe just a little too like content already before the game even started. Like just not too worried. I don't know. But just after that, it was a wake up call to really like work hard, not miss a rep, take every rep seriously, whether it be in the weight room or in the pitching tunnel or hitting or fielding, whatever. And also just a wake up call to be a good leader and hold everyone accountable, but also hold myself accountable by my own actions. But really one of the biggest takeaways from that is I'm never, ever going to walk into a game again feeling any kind of feeling besides ready to absolutely go compete. I'm not going to walk in just too confident or thinking it's already in the bag, like never again. So big turning point.
Yeah.
You were a captain as a sophomore?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, me and the catcher on our team. She's also in my grade, but that was cool. We played together for a very long time, but it was us two.
That's
That's
really
some
cool.
leadership skills.
Yeah.
Well, they definitely got better after our sophomore year, so learned a lot there.
What were you doing to kind of focus on leadership? Because that's, I mean, at that age, I don't know that a lot of people are thinking about leadership.
I think I kind of started looking at it as it's not just a badge. Captain, leader, it's not just a badge that you wear, but it's something you have to act out and live out, whether that's just through yourself or holding people accountable. And just knowing that as a leader, you might not always be popular, you might not always have a whole lot of friends, but that's when I kind of just also leaned into the people that I know, like I talked about, would care about me whether I touch a softball again or not. Like, they're the ones that have my back. I don't need a lot of friends. I need a few really good ones. And so I just leaned on them and always tried to make my interest be the interest of the team in whatever way that looked like.
Is there a leader that you particularly tried to embody at all? Or like, was it your siblings that just kind of pushed you to keep that open mind and strong ground?
Yeah, I would say I was very blessed to have a lot of individuals in my life growing up that I looked to as really great leaders. There were so many, and I think from all of them you take something that you want to imitate. And so whether it was older players that came back and talked to teams or coaches that I played with, my parents, my older brother, just I think trying to take things from all of them.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Well, one of the things, speaking of leadership, that I think you're particularly good at is your mental game. It's been commented on quite a bit. Your OU coach described you as having an honest-to-goodness mental edge that amplifies her raw talent. And I think you've talked about being inspired by Michael Jordan and his drive. Focusing, and one of the things that you mentioned too is like just in a previous question here is like focusing on the process more so than the result. Is that as easy as it sounds though? Because I mean, sometimes you're thinking big. People want to aspire to championships, and like being in the moment is kind of hard.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely, it's tough, and it doesn't just come naturally. Honestly, it comes from a lot of failure. And like you said, the process. I just remember growing up, it was the moments where I didn't have success that send you back to the weight room, back to the pitching tunnel, like back to the grind, because next time you're tested in competition, you want it to turn out differently. And so I guess what excites me the most about the game of softball are the high pressure situations where one little thing could send you spiraling down to defeat, or you're one pitch away from victory. Whether it's runners in scoring position and no outs, or you're down and you need to hold it, things like that. But times in my life where I've been in those situations and they haven't gone the way that I wanted it to, that I think is where the confidence is built. It's forged in fire, if you want to say, because it sends you back to the grind. And the harder you work, the more you can trust your training when the pressure situations come in, and the less you can overanalyze every little thing, but more just simply have the competitive mode turned on. But I think that's something a lot of people don't realize, is that confidence and like having that mental edge, like you talked about, it doesn't come from it just being sunshine and rainbows all the time. It comes from the defeat.
The prep.
Yes.
The reps. You talked about doing the reps.
Yes.
I'm interested in how, like, when you're mid-game and say maybe you've thrown a few pitches that weren't what you had hoped them to be, how do you, like, talk yourself back into getting, kind of focused up and be like, okay, like,
Reset.
that's it. Let's go.
Yeah, like you said, it's a reset. I often get stuck in times where I will have pitches like that and I just want to hang on to them, or maybe try to overcorrect my next pitch and now I'm overthrowing. You kind of just have to have a flush it, I guess. Like you said, a reset, and just have a couple simple thoughts, and you stick with those simple thoughts every single pitch, and you don't let the last one affect the next one. So it's like I said,
What's
it's
the simple
tough.
thoughts? Like, what are you telling yourself?
For me, it's like slow and reach back to second, slow and reach back to second. And that means I will start to rush myself at times when I start driving off the rubber. So I tell myself slow, and then reach back to second helps me just stay long and loose. Like I'm talking about my pitching arm, like reaching back. So just long and loose and slow, like 70%.
Slow
Yeah.
and reach back. Like you can
It's definitely like a rhythm thing. So
Yeah. It's about, and I think you've spoken on this too, like being in the moment, going back to that process, obviously, just like, I mean, you're just going back on that training that you've instilled over years and years and years. So it's, I mean, it's simple when you like spell it out sometimes, but like,
you have to try to keep it simple.
yeah.
Yep.
I'm sure a lot of people that play golf would stand to learn from a master class of you
No.
on that.
Well, and me
patience
from them, I can't play golf. I don't have the patience for it. So
That's
so
funny.
mental, though.
I'm curious, what are you going to miss most about Oklahoma?
I think just, well, the people, obviously, but just, I don't know. It's hard to understand unless you've been in it, but I think our team bonded so strongly simply because we always had that target on our backs, and we always felt an insane amount of pressure just from the success that they've had years in the past. And I think every year it gets a little worse just because of the success they continue to have.
That's interesting. A target on your back. Yeah.
Yeah, but because of that, it's like our team as a whole feels the pressure. I wouldn't say a lot of other programs in the country necessarily feel, and that just creates a different kind of bond.
Because you're protecting each other, kind of is that.
Yeah, you know that like you're in it together. No one else really understands what you all go through together.
It's a shared experience. Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting.
Do you have any weird like pre-game or season-long rituals?
Weird.
No, sometimes I can be a little just like stingy about how I do my hair, or do I wear a bow today, or I don't know, just weird things like that. But it changes, so it's not like it's this way or the highway. Like it's like it goes through waves, little seasons.
I don't think every athlete loves every aspect of the game. Do you have whether it's conditioning or dealing with like rowdy fans or anything like that, do you have like a nemesis when it comes to the game of softball or the preparation that goes into it?
Honestly, I do like a lot of the parts of the game. I think the part at time that can kind of rob the joy from the game is like all of the outside noise. Yeah, like sometimes it's like during season, like I was talking about the pressure that just we as a team would feel. It's like you just want to go out there and play softball. But they're like, once the game's over, there's people pulling you in a million different directions. It's people, I mean, I'll just talk on last season. It was like three-peat, like honestly before the season even started. And it's like you just want to block all that out and just be with the team on the field where your 2 feet are. But it's hard at times when I said all that outside noise and hype and everything is just going on. It's like it makes you miss when you were a kid and you were just showing up, warming up for an hour, going and playing a game. Like, it's just not the same way.
Yeah.
You'd be happy to see your grandparents in the stands.
Yeah.
Is there anything you do to help block that? I'm sure you've got some techniques, but
Yeah, kind of just like you said, you just do your best to block it. Our team, we talked a lot about eyes up. We would always say eyes up. And in the Bible, Colossians 3 talks about setting your heart and your sights on things above. And so that would kind of, whenever we would say that to each other, literally like mid-inning, like high pressure moment, I would turn around, look at my field, and Grace Lyons would be like, eyes up, and it's like, yeah, you're right. It literally takes your sights off of what you're doing here, and it brings them above, and it's just, I know, it's and automatically whenever she would say that, it's just like pressure's just lifted, and you're like, yeah, we're just playing ball, man. Like, and we're giving it all back to him. And so that is just, I think, a great way that, not to say we just used it, but I mean, it's reality for whatever you do in life. Whenever you're feeling stressed out and overwhelmed, it's just eyes up, and automatically it's like you just feel a weight lifted.
We're using that in our
Next meeting.
Well, I'd love to talk a little bit about, growing up. Your hometown is Papillion, Nebraska, and I understand that the family games of wiffle ball were especially intense.
Oh, yeah.
You used metal bats?
Yep, sometimes.
Okay. Tell me a little bit about it.
So usually it was 2-on-2 when my dad was the all-time pitcher, and we would mix up teams, whatever, but they pretty much always ended in the same way. One of my brothers would get thrown out, the other one would just get super mad because maybe dad was throwing the pitches too nasty and he couldn't hit them, or I don't know. It always just went south. It was the most hilarious thing, though, when my dad would kick my youngest brother out of the game, because automatically he would just start screaming. And yeah, like one time the bat got chucked and it was like almost hit my brother in the head. Like,
family brings
crazy.
out the best in each other, don't they?
Yeah. Yep.
So was there tracking of score throughout this? Okay, do you have your favorite team? Because it's 2-on-2.
Yeah, it is 2-on-2. I don't know if I ever had a favorite team. I mean, it mixed it up quite a bit. I just loved playing it, so.
Going back to the process, right? Just having.
Yeah, seriously.
What else can you tell me about competitions with your brothers? I know you've got Bryson, Broden, and Hayden, and you've mentioned how a lot of your competitiveness, that's a tough word to say, as a softball player, you attribute to competing with them growing up.
Yeah, I think growing up, I never got into, if I had a sister, we probably would have gone to war, but I never really got to that point with my brothers. They would with each other, but I was kind of a bystander once that happened. But growing up, I just wanted to hang with them. I always wanted to be the cool sister that could
Where were you in the order?
In the middle.
Or are you?
In the middle. Yeah, so for me, like I said, I just wanted to hang with them. And so I think that's kind of where my tomboy came from. I didn't want to be the girly girl, little princess sister. I just wanted to be one of the boys. And so I think that's where a lot of that comes from.
Yeah. And did they want to hang with you too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was cool.
Yeah, I feel like that's a crucial thing to think the brothers think that you're cool too.
Yeah.
That they want
I wanted to be their cool sister. That they were proud to.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear that. That sounds like, again, some of our questions more about your family coming up here, but it sounds like you've got a good unit. The 4th of July is coming up. This episode's going to come out after then, but I'm curious, how does your family typically celebrate big holidays?
Well, the 4th of July is one of our favorite holidays. We have a very just patriotic family. So at our old house we used to live in, it was on a neighborhood street, and there were houses all around. So we would actually block off the street and have a huge block party and invite a whole bunch of people, big fireworks show. I have an Uncle Mike, and he would take money from whoever wanted to pitch in, and we'd probably spend $1,000 on fireworks or over and have a huge party. And then as we just got busy, and me and my brothers all played baseball and softball all summer, that kind of died down a little bit. But we moved now, and so we kind of have a little bit more space. We have a cool neighbor on the corner. His name's Neighbor Dave, and he does the huge fireworks show now, and Uncle Mike will still pitch in and buy a lot of fireworks as well. But whenever we can, it's not necessarily on the 4th every year, but a lot of food. Family comes over now. It's not necessarily the huge block party, but we still really like to celebrate it and literally get lit. So
I can see how that's really been a large part of you, growing up, and I can see why you'd want to make your way back here to be closer to all that again.
Yeah.
Can you speak to how your family kind of keeps that connection so strong with each other?
Yeah. So I will go back to high school because in high school I never really had a friend group I ran around with. So I grew up going to school with all my like childhood friends, you know. And then in high school, I transferred to the other high school in our town. So we have two, Papillion South and Papillion La Vista, and I went to Papillion La Vista. So I was kind of like the new girl already. And like my friends were the girls in the softball team, but I didn't necessarily have a group I ran around with. So I hung out with my brothers on the weekends and even ran around with them with their friends some. And so that just kind of just made our bond even tighter. And like I said, they've always been there for me. So like to this day, they still are my best friends. And like on a Friday night, like my favorite thing to do is hang out on the back patio with them and listen to them be dumb and make me laugh. And they're just hilarious. And they're all so different. I love it. But I think just realizing that family, you're always going to have them. We might be super mad at each other sometimes, but nothing's going to change the fact that they're family and that they're still going to be there for me like when I need them the most, where other people might not be.
Yeah. What's the age difference between all of you?
We're all 2 years apart, so it goes, my youngest brother is 16, and then he's going to be a freshman at Midland, is 18, and then I am 20, and then my oldest brother is 22.
Yeah.
So, yep.
It's a good mix.
Yeah.
So you're hanging out on the back patio.
Yep.
They're being dumb. What kind of things are they like? They're making you laugh. How they make you laugh?
Probably can't say it on air.
Yeah, sure.
They're out of pocket. We'll just say that.
That's good.
Cool. Well, I love reading about this. You and your dad have matching tattoos.
Uh-huh.
I wasn't able to confirm. Is it the numbers 98?
Yep.
Okay.
The number's 98.
And GTN, is that part of it, or is that
That's
for you
separate.
specific?
I just
Okay.
have that one.
So
but
the number's 98. And tell us a little bit about that.
So my dad was number 98 when he played football in college at Doane. And so then when I went to college, I needed to pick a number, and I picked 98 because I wanted it to be a number that was special. And so it was like we were in California for like my last travel ball tournament ever, and it was my birthday. He's like, "What do you want to do?" And so I was like, "Oh, let's go get tattoos, Dad." And it was his first ever tattoo.
Oh my
so
God.
now, yeah, he has a couple more now, but like, yeah.
You started the bug for him. That's
Yep.
pretty cool.
Yep.
And GTN is from I think you and your dad's favorite movie, right? 300?
Yeah. So first we were watching it, and there's this one part of the movie where they see the bad guys coming in. And
Yeah.
it goes, give them nothing, but take from them everything. And I looked at my dad, and I was like, "Dad, that's sick. I'm going to get that tatted." And I had like just turned 18. And so, yeah, it was my first ever tattoo, GTN. And it means a lot more than just that from a competitor's standpoint. I also looked at it as give them nothing, just in like, don't sacrifice who you are. Don't sacrifice your morals, your values for anything, anyone. You have to stay true to who you are, especially in our world. Our world is changing so much every day, and it's like you just got to know who you are and be firm in that. And so, yeah, it's much greater than just the competitive standpoint.
It sounds like you know who you are, and I think
Yeah.
that's impressive.
Rare at 20.
Yeah, I think a lot of us are still figuring it out. So.
Well, me too. So, I mean, the main things are set and in place, you
Yeah.
know. But
Good.
That's good.
Good. I was very interested to hear how in high school, after that championship loss your sophomore year, and probably even going to Oklahoma, your family and dad in particular, you've talked a little bit about this, helping you kind of work through creating that person that you are outside of softball. Can you talk a little bit about the things that you did to kind of create that identity outside of sport?
Yeah, it's funny. So, after that loss, it was like, dude, if all you put your identity in is softball, then something like this absolutely just kills you. And like, that can't be how it is. And one day you're going to be done playing, and then what? And that's kind of when a light bulb went off, and I'm like, okay, well, this is not ever again going to be who I find my identity in or what I find my identity in. So a couple of big things happened. One, I started going to FCA at high school, and like for the first time in my life, I had always grown up going to church. But for the first time in my life, it really clicked that it's not just checking boxes and going through the motions and showing up on Sunday and reading your Bible, but it's like a relationship with Christ. And so, like, when I understood that, it was like not something that I felt like I had to do, but I wanted to do. And just being in prayer more just throughout the day, just in my head as I'm driving, reading the Bible to find out more about Him, not just because it's something I feel like I should be doing. That was a huge thing. And then also, I just started picking up more hobbies. Like, I had rode horses when I was little because I was a huge horse girl and I loved them.
Oh, cool.
And at that point in high school, I started riding horses again because I'm like,
Fun.
heck yeah, after school, I'm going to go ride horses today. And so I started doing that. I always looked forward to, we have friends down in Syracuse, Nebraska, and they have a whole lot of land they let us hunt on. They have a farm pond that they stock with fish, and in the winter they stock it with trout so we can go catch some rainbow trout. But yeah, super fun. I just like really dove into things like that and made sure I made priorities for them as well, and not just like practice. Like, I still got all my practices in, but I also like would find out what I'm doing on these days that aren't softball as well.
Yeah.
So
It sounded like even in Oklahoma, you kind of kept up with those passions, created a little group of friends to be able to do those things down there as well, correct?
yeah, we had a lot of girls in the team that were into the fishing as well. And man, fishing down there is so much better than here. I will say that.
Really?
I'll miss that for sure. But yeah, big bass. So
A lot of
that was
bluegill here.
a lot of bluegill. Yeah. But
We are always kind of curious about your home, obviously, given what we do. What do you remember most about your childhood home? And you already said, I think you guys moved. You have a different house.
yeah, I think just our backyard is one of the coolest things. Our backyard and our basement. I spent a lot of the time in the basement because it was kind of turned into a pitching workout area. So we got a bunch of workout equipment down there, and then it's an unfinished basement. And my dad left it that way so I could throw softballs against the brick wall down there, the cement wall.
That's great.
So I spent a lot of time down there. And then also just our backyard. We spent so much time out there. Like, when I say, like, that's what I like to do on a Friday, Saturday night, it's still what I love to do. And it's not the most exciting thing in the world to a lot of people, but it's just simple, it's peaceful, and I'm just so content with it.
Your parents still live there?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. My dad, he built a wood pile. So we have a wood-burning fireplace, and so like all summer we'll fill that thing up and then burn it all through the winter. So that's out there, fenced-in yard. The dogs can run, lots of trees. It's just super peaceful for someone that likes to sit out there all the time.
Yeah.
I love
great.
it. What does the backyard patio look like?
It's just a cement slab right outside the back door, pretty much. I couldn't tell you how big it is, but we have a basketball hoop, so we played a lot of basketball as well out there. But
How'd you decorate your room?
my room right now is like, there's things, it's like a storyline of my life. It doesn't have like a theme. It's like there's stuff in there from when I was like 5 or 6, and then there's stuff in there from this last year. So like you could look around my room and it's like the story of my life. I used to love to draw horses, so on my wall I have a bunch of pictures of horses I drew. It's
Cool.
yeah.
Trophies? Do you have all of your stuff
I
in
do
the
have
room?
some trophies in there. Yep.
That's crazy.
Was there what do you remember the first time that you like put something up on the wall?
No, I don't really know.
Yeah.
Like I said, there's a lot of stuff up there. I have like middle school basketball pictures.
Yeah.
I have softball pictures. I have a board with a lot of different pictures from like 9U games and going to the lake, and it's cool. So it's been a collection.
Yeah.
So,
Are you staying with your folks right now, or are you okay?
yep, I'm living with them until I move in to a duplex with a few girls on the softball team in August.
Awesome.
Are you excited? That's so exciting.
Yeah, I am. Because like you said, now I'll be able to like start over and decorate my room and like
Yeah.
pick a theme.
Yeah.
It'd be, I can't do that now. I have too much stuff
Yeah.
in there. So
What are you going for? How would you describe your style?
I don't know. I like flowers, like sunflowers, and I have some light blue flowers, like little vintage kind of. I like the farmhouse type of decor.
Sure.
So, yeah.
Sure, that's a good look. I mean, I think it's classic. I know that you're obviously sports is huge for you. Outdoors, your dog people. Any of that going to be kind of an inspiration for how you outfit your room or your guys' place in general?
Yeah, so I'm a mom. I have a black lab that's 1 year old, and so I have to take her into consideration and try to give the best life to her
What's
I
her
can
name?
down there.
Of course.
Her name is Remington, but I call her Remy.
Adorable.
So she'll probably have a cute little dog bed maybe,
Yeah.
but she might sleep in my bed too, so I don't know. But yeah, I'm gonna plan around her as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there something like that you for sure have spoiled her with?
She likes these toys called pizzles. They're like they're like bully sticks.
Oh,
Okay.
sure.
Okay.
They're like bull pizzles.
Uh-huh.
That's
Uh-huh.
what this.
Got
I don't
it.
know.
Got
She
it.
loves those things. So they're expensive too. They're like $12 to $15, but she'll be content for like 3 hours, and then she eats it, and it's
That's-
gone, and there's
That's
$15.
necessary at
Yeah.
1 year
So
old. That's super
I've
necessary.
probably bought her way too many of those.
I think you can buy a version of them in bulk at like Costco.
Really?
Yeah, and
Okay,
it's
I
like
need to look into that.
$50 for the whole bag. It's
Tip
not
from
cheap.
Renee.
Yeah, we do that because my dog's the same way. He loves them.
That's so funny.
What's something you do at home that people would be surprised to know?
Well, this is kind of new, but I got a Polaroid camera, and that thing goes everywhere with me. In fact, I have it on me right now, but I don't know if there's film in it. But I have been taking probably at least like 5 Polaroids a day.
Retro.
Oh, cool.
Yes, and I
Is
tape
it a
them up.
vintage one or is it kind of a?
It's just like one of the newer ones.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, I think
But-
we've got some film if you. I think so.
I need to stock up.
Yeah.
But yeah, just capturing everything, everyone, and putting it. I'm taping them all on the cupboard in our kitchen, and so we have a cupboard
Cute.
now, and it's like halfway full.
Yeah.
But I love to do that.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
think that speaks very true to your like wanting to be present and remember
Yes,
how
yes.
strong you can be in the now versus
Yeah.
letting that moment fly away.
Do you have a favorite photo subject when you're taking these photos?
Well, they're all of like my family and stuff. So I don't know. Like last night at the Storm Chasers game, I just took pictures of everybody and everything. So I don't know. They're just all people. So
Yeah. I think like landscapes are fine, but like I
Yeah.
like people pictures more. So
Yeah.
I'm with you there. I love your merch site.
Oh,
I've
thanks.
explored that a little bit, especially the play on your last name. Those shirts that you've got,
yeah.
the play ball, let's ball. Again, great stuff. I have some additional T-shirt ideas that I'm curious.
Get ready.
Let's hear it.
These are free for you. If you want to take them, great. If you don't, I will be offended, but I'll pretend not to be.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna pitch them to you. You can let me know what you think.
Okay.
Okay, first one size fits ball. No? Okay.
Oh no, that's funny. That's funny.
Okay, coming at you like a wrecking ball.
Oh.
Is this no? Okay. She didn't like that
Feels
one.
like a rally cry almost. Your fans could
I
have
feel like
that.
you keep explaining the ball
I just
part
thought
like
of Miley
Miley
Cyrus. No, I just
Do you
thought of
get
Miley
it?
Cyrus when you said wrecking ball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
100%.
No? Okay, not your vibe. Okay, we can move on. Shine like a disco ball. Okay, that was
That
stunned
one-
silence.
that one fell
went-
flat.
that
I
one
think it fell
completely
flat.
fell flat.
Yeah.
Okay, belle of the ball.
Belle of the ball?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Who's Belle?
What- it's like a
it's a
term.
phrase.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh.
yeah,
Southern
like you're,
phrase.
like,
like
the
she's
coolest
belle of the
person there.
ball. Yeah.
Oh, no.
So
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything that needs explanation.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna skip a few because these are not going as well as I would.
Wait,
have
F is good. Don't skip F.
Which one? F? You
Yeah.
want me to? Okay, dressed and ready to ball.
That's good.
Okay, that's
was
better.
Like,
Yeah?
Let's go. Yeah.
Finally, okay, winning you back. All right. Mirror, mirror, just watch me ball. I don't know. That one was weird. That one didn't come off as well as I would have liked. Okay, this is Renee's favorite. Divided we fall, together we ball.
Nice. That is good.
That feels very like true to you now that we know you.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, this one is for, there's some people who aren't sports fans. I
Yeah.
don't understand them as well, but they always refer to sports as sports ball. So this is just, yay, sports ball.
Who are those people? I don't know what that
That's funny.
All right, last one that I have. Don't take your eye off the ball.
I
That
don't
feels
know.
good.
It's kind of stalkerish.
No, but
If I
like
see someone
don't.
wearing that shirt, I'm
Boundaries.
gonna be on guard.
Yeah, that's
Fair
fair.
enough.
All right, well, you can take or leave any of those. They're free for you.
No, that's good.
That's all I had for you. I have one final question.
Okay.
Obviously, this is a podcast all about home. And there are a few things in life, as passion, sparking, as community building, as sports, and especially rooting for the home team. So, Jordyn, we're just wondering, why do you think that's the case? What makes rooting for the home team so special?
Because it's just ingrained from day one, I think. It's home. It's in your backyard. It just means more because it's right in front of you, and it's, I guess, what you just grow up and live watching and doing and wanting to be a part of.
Perfect answer. Well, Jordyn, again, thank you so much for joining our podcast today. How can people stay connected with you, Nebraska softball, your NFM home team endeavors, all of that?
I would say social media is probably the best way. I know NFM has it, Husker softball has it, I have it, and so I think that'd be a really good way.
All right. Is there one that you use more frequently than the others?
I'm probably on Instagram.
The
more than-
Instagrams.
yeah.
Okay, we'll make sure that's high on the links added to our show notes.
Okay.
Well, again, I want to thank everyone who's listening at home and encourage you to go to nfm.com to learn more about our company and shop 24/7 for today's top furnishing styles. We'll be back again soon with another episode. Till then, remember, home is what you make it.
Thanks for joining us today for I Am Home with Tyler Weiskup, Hillary Woltemath, and Becca Sudbeck. No one knows home quite like NFM. So if you'd like more information on home design at NFM, please check out nfm.com and leave us a review on the podcast platform of your choice.